All right, let's dive into a really fascinating tactical showdown, a simulated A-League match between Macarthur FC and Auckland FC. We're going to break down exactly how this game could play out, looking at the tactics, the formations, and running through a minute-by-minute simulation.
So, right at the heart of this matchup, you've got this classic clash of styles. On one side, you have Macarthur, and they're basically a coiled spring. They want to soak up pressure and then just explode on the counter-attack with pure pace. And then you've got Auckland FC. They're the complete opposite. They want to be the conductors, holding on to the ball, patiently building their attacks through that creative midfield. It really is the ultimate tactical battle. Speed versus control.
Okay, so that's the theory, but how does it actually look on the pitch? Let's get into the predicted starting lineups for both of these squads.
For Macarthur, we're expecting them to roll out in that classic 4-4-2. You know the one. It's all about being solid, balanced, and hard to break down. You've got experienced guys in the middle like Luke Bratton and Anthony Kakaris, and their job is twofold: win the ball back and then immediately launch those quick attacks for their strikers.
And on the other side, Auckland's going with a slightly different flavor, that more modern 4-2-3-1. What this does is it allows them to really stack the midfield, which is key for their possession game. And up top, they've got their main man, Sam Cosgrove, as the clear target, with a trio of creative players buzzing around in that space right behind him.
Okay, lineups are in, the stage is set. Let's fire up the simulation and see how this first half tactical chess match is likely to shake out. You can almost see the story of the first half playing out right here. Macarthur, they come out with a lot of energy, but it doesn't take long for Auckland to settle things down and start controlling the territory. By that 25-minute mark, Auckland's midfield is really starting to run the show, and it forces Macarthur to drop deep and just look for those quick counters. That pressure eventually leads to a dangerous free kick for Auckland, but Macarthur's defense, they really dig in and hold on, keeping things level.
So we hit the halftime whistle, and here's the big takeaway. The score is 0-0, but the stats tell a different story. With about 60% of the ball, Auckland is absolutely controlling the flow of this game. The big question is, can they actually turn all that dominance into a goal?
All right, let's get into the second half. This is where the game is going to be won or lost. You've got tactical tweaks, substitutions, and of course, fatigue starting to play a huge role. And pretty much as you'd expect, Auckland comes out of the locker room fired up. They start trying to exploit those wide areas, getting in behind the defense. In response, around the hour mark, you see both managers go to their bench. They're throwing on some fresh legs, some extra pace, just looking for that one player who can create a spark and break this thing open.
And then, right around the 71st minute, that's the moment, the breakthrough. All that constant pressure from Auckland finally finds a crack in the Macarthur defense.
So how does it happen? Well, let's look at the anatomy of this goal. It's really the perfect example of Auckland's whole game plan in action. They build it up patiently through the midfield, which pulls a defender just slightly out of position. A sharp, clever ball is slipped through to Sam Cosgrove, and he does the rest, a really clinical finish. And boom, just like that, it's 1-0. All that patient build-up finally pays off for Auckland, and the whole feel of the game just completely changes.
So now the shoe's on the other foot, right? Macarthur has to come out and chase the game. They have to abandon that defensive shell. But Auckland is ready for it. They immediately shift into a more compact defensive shape, basically daring Macarthur to break them down as they try to see out this win. Okay, so the final whistle blows in our simulation, a tight 1-0 win for Auckland. But the scoreline only tells part of the story. Let's dig into the numbers and see what they tell us. And this right here, the possession stat, it really confirms what we saw playing out. Auckland ends up with 57% of the ball. It just underlines their ability to dictate the pace of the game from pretty much start to finish. But, and this is a huge but, possession doesn't automatically win you the game. Look at this. Even though Auckland had a way more of the ball, Macarthur's direct, counterpunching style still managed to create a decent 3 to 5 shots on target. It just goes to show they were a threat the entire time. So when you boil it all down, what are the big tactical takeaways here? Well, first, Auckland's patience absolutely paid off. Their possession game wasn't just for looks, it was the tool they used to create that winning chance. Second, Macarthur's counterattack was always a danger, but Auckland did a great job of containing it. And finally, just as we thought, this game was won and lost right in the center of the pitch. Whoever controlled the midfield controlled the match. So, this simulation gives us one possible, very detailed way this could all go down. A win built on tactical discipline and patience.
Which leads to the final, all-important question, especially for all you fantasy managers watching. Knowing what you know now, who's the first name on your team sheet? Is it a clinical finisher like Cosgrove? Or maybe one of those key midfielders who just quietly ran the whole show?